What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I'm so glad that you're here. I'm so glad to have you. I have so much in store for us to go over today. Looking forward to this trading week. But first, let's review last week, and then I'll talk to you guys about the importance of why sometimes you want to have more than just one pair to trade. And then we'll go over what current markets look like as well as news for this week. So let's start in with the first reviewing of trades. So I think I had a couple wins last week. All of them were on gold. None of them were on UJ. So I just took the time to just go through one that was probably my quickest trade of the week. I probably was only in it maybe 4 or 5 hours, 6 max maybe. So here we have gold, of course. You know, I'm seeing beautiful structure on gold. This is really the kind of markets that I like to trade in because it's so clean. Clean markets give clean opportunities, and I love clean opportunities, right? So at the beginning of this week, let's see, Monday. So we're around here. We're around this formation of this next higher low. So my goal actually was to get in at this higher low and take it up to the next resistance, which would be this weekly. I think this is our weekly resistance. Yes, our weekly resistance. I actually missed the entry down here, which kind of sucks. It actually was very beautiful, but honestly, I can already tell from how this was forming that on the lower time frame, there was some sort of higher low that formed or some sort of level of support. But I do remember also looking at trades in this area and being a little iffy just because I was still so close to this resistance line again for the daily. So I didn't know if price was going to come up and then possibly reject again. So I figured since I missed this trade, which would have been the more profitable trade for me, just so I could have more room for my stop loss. And then I saw this trade. I was like, okay, well, if the market is going to continue moving bullish, then I will take it on the break of this previous form of resistance and turn that purple since we're on H4. And then I'll catch it on the next level of support that forms above this line. So you can see, again, we had that happen. Right before I think market open actually. So when I woke up, 1, 2, 3 candles had already formed. So from here, my analysis was okay. So we had price break because I'm going to go down to my lower time frame. We had price break this form of resistance, which we know is a higher time frame resistance on H4. So I'm okay to just take the pullback entry. We already saw that this was formed like at 6 o'clock in the morning, which created that nice big bullish candle on H4. So from here, honestly, as all I was looking for was the next engulfing pattern. So right as I opened the lower time frame just to look for an entry, this candlestick pattern, let me highlight it. So this candlestick pattern, which is a bullish engulfing, had just formed. So honestly, all I did was took the buy, placed this as my my take profit, and I put my stop loss under the last form of support. So because this is a lower time frame entry, I put it right under this bullish engulfing candlestick pattern. But if you also take notice, another confirmation for me as to why I was confident in this trade was that we had just broke the lower time frame resistance as well. So at this point, I know that I'm above the higher time frame resistance on H4, this purple line. And now I also know that I'm above the lower time frame resistance, this white line. And we just had another higher low that formed above that higher time frame resistance. So right now it's showing me that the buyers are very strong in this area, and I can take these like bullish engulfing type entries and get a pretty good profit from it. So once that I set this up, I just made sure I check my risk to reward. which I think this is like a 1 to 3.1. Yes, a 1 to 3.1. All it has to do, for me, it just needs to be a 1 to 3 or just a 3 on here. And it fits within my risk parameters and I'll take the trade. So that's what I did. And by, I think 12, nope, later, by the end of the day, I had hit my take profit and I was out the trade. So I was very happy with this. Again, I'm actually really liking what I see on gold right now. I mean, I think that's what I was trying to get into earlier. Let me just clean this up so we can get back to it. But I really like what I'm seeing on gold in terms of the structure. Like, this is beautiful, bullish structure. So for me right now, it's a lot easier to stay on like my rules and, you know, sticking with my plan, because I actually have like prices moving within my type of trading style or the way that I like to look for entries and exits, as opposed to UJ, where we've just been sitting in this consolidation. Beginning of January, right? So I've been, you know, H4 right now for UJ hasn't been the clearest, so I've been actually using the daily just to kind of give me some sort of understanding of where the market might want to go. So I had this last support marked off for UJ. And I was thinking, okay, maybe if we have a break, then we have a pullback, we'll have a continuation. So let me just draw that a little bit. So this is the last support based on these two bearish candles. Then we have a bullish candle here marking it as support, and the market pushed higher. Then we had another push below, and it did break on the daily from this candle right here because it's not touching this level of support. So now we can consider this a resistance. And if you see from the past, I want to say this was the last week, we had price come up and now test this newly formed resistance. And now we have a resistance that's formed based on this bullish blue candle and this bearish white candle. So now we have a support that is a resistance, right? So how I'm drawing that structurally is like this. So we had price come down, we had a break on this candle, we had price come up, test this former support that is now a resistance. From here, I would expect to see a drop, test, drop, you know, something similar to that nature, right? I feel like right now what I'm just seeing on UJ, we still have that drop, we had a test, but price is coming back to this level of support, which is the next level of support it formed under the previous one that is now considered a resistance. This support level is not breaking. So price is coming down to this support level and it's unable to break through. So we just have consolidation or just sideways movement by price between these two levels, which, as I've stated in previous videos, is my worst kind of like market condition. I don't like trading sideways. It's very hard to like get really clean entries at one end to the other. And also this range is very tight and I just don't think it's profitable. Oops, I got the right one, but I don't think it's profitable for me based on the 1 to 3 risk to reward ratio that I have. Yeah, it's only 155 pips within that range. So if you go down onto the lower time frame, you can actually really see what I was talking about. Like we had this break of support. Price has tried to reach this level. It touched last week. We still got a resistance form. So we thought, you know, we looked for price to come down here and possibly break. It did not. It also rejected again. So I'm just trying to see which side of this of these price areas is going to break first. Yeah, so this is kind of why I actually took all of my losses on UJ this week because of this kind of structure. I got caught up in that bullish, this area right here where we were looking for that bullish pull. I thought we would have a little bit more of a push up to our, I think this is our weekly resistance line, but we did not. it actually reversed, and I got out for a small win, and then I took losses from here, thinking again we had a push. And then I think a couple other two were trades that didn't follow my trading plan, and I think I did catch one trade where I was revenge trading this week. So very frustrating within this area. I feel like I took unnecessary L's, which is why I'm kind of excited though that I have a secondary pair to look on and trade, so I can not lose confidence in my trading in this kind of market, but also just knowing like this conditions are just not ideal for me. So just to give you guys a side by side, right? So I'll put this back on H4. Let's split the screen. Like we have USD JPY on the left. Trying to clean it up, right? So this is the H4 structure, right? Then we have gold on the right. H4 structure again. Let me get my annotations. H4 structure again. Like this market on the right is clearly, based on my trading style and my rules, is clearly like levels better for opportunities than the market on the left with UJ. Like where I'm not really sure which way the structure is going to go. I don't know if this has formed a new high or low. I don't know if we're going to push lower. Price is not really showing me, and I don't have enough data to kind of make a bias as to which way the direction of price is going to go. On gold, it's very clear for me to see which way price is going to go. The only thing that we have to watch now is if our supports are going to continuously hold up, right? So once we see the break of support, then we'll probably be in a similar position as UJ, depending on how structure forms. But as of now, like we're getting consistent higher lows, very clean structure. The only thing that we're looking for is entries every time price pulls back and forms a new support line, but definitely a new higher low. So this is kind of what I was talking about earlier this year when I was like, I wanted to add a new pair to get more opportunities to, get some more wins, get some more trades in. So very excited to see what gold is going to do this week, as it just looks so clean. So it's giving me a little bit of excitement. All right, so that is all I have for the two pairs versus one. And also, like, don't start off with more than one pair. I would say, like, really start with one pair and get into the habit of using your trading plan, like getting into your groove, and then as you feel comfortable, like add another pair. Like I think all last year I looked at 3 pairs to see which one I wanted to have as my secondary. Like I looked at US 30, I looked at NAS 100, the Nasdaq, and then and US 30 is the Dow, and then I also looked at gold. And I went with gold because it's kind of similar to a currency. It's also like I said, like the USD is on the opposite side of UJ, so they will both have reactions to USD news, which I'm very familiar with from trading UJ. And then the other reason was like I felt like I've actually heard like a lot of people once they started, expanding their trading beyond just a currency pair, a lot of them also liked gold. So I was like, well, let me see if I like it too. And honestly, so far, so good. So what we're looking for next week, again, like we have the market for gold just consistently giving us new higher lows. So right now we have a resistance that's formed. So the next thing what we're looking for is a higher low. I have marked off this area right here. We have our zone. In case price goes into this zone, we'll definitely be looking for buys. But price also may form a support before this zone, which I think it did on this one. Yes, it did do that on this one. Price made a higher low. Before entering into the zone, we'll still be looking for entries. So whether we get a tip, let me clone it so you could see the difference. So this one, we got price dipped into the zone while it was forming a higher low, so that gave a nice entry. This one, it did not. We did not get a pullback to that zone. So we'll see if we're going to get a pullback to the zone and then a push higher, or a pullback and then a break lower to retest this level of support that we have. Because we are at a weekly resistance line, I am going to be very wary and very careful of price just coming down and kind of not trying to continue this movement up. But I'm also not too concerned because when you look at like the weekly that just formed, like we just had, this was, mark this off, this was kind of like a higher low for the weekly, right? So we had price just, we had it stall here just a tad, right? After it came off this higher low structure, right? Price come up, down from higher low, come up, kind of form another higher low, come up, form our last higher low, which we have on our lower time frames on this trend line. So now we're looking at price going up. So I do think that we'll continue to see price break through this resistance just based on like the previous weekly candle and how bullish it closed. So that is my analysis for gold. And I think my analysis for UJ doesn't change based on what I explained earlier. I'm just trying to see which way price is going to break through. Is it going to break through this resistance again and continue to move bullish like it has been? Or are we going to get a break of this support and we're going to continue to see the selling pressure on the dollar versus the yen? And honestly, that's just a patient and a waiting game, which I told you guys is like my weakest point of my trading attributes, I'd say. But I'm still I'm still learning. So I'll take this like week as a very good learning opportunity with UJ to just wait and see what price does, wait and see what the data is going to form, wait and see what kind of trades opportunities will open up themselves after we get through this period. So gold right now is the number one pair until further notice, until UJ can get the structure together. But that's really all I had today. Actually, no, let's go over news for this week. So, biggest news this week, honestly, I don't really care about anything else outside of what's happening on Wednesday at 2 o'clock, which is our first federal funds rate FOMC statement under President Donald Trump. If you guys do not know, last week, I don't remember which event, if it was the World Economic Forum or if it was during his inaugural speech, but Trump did mention that he really wants the Fed to cut interest rates, right? To stimulate the economy, really help, build America back up to the economic juggernaut it once was. However, the president does not get to choose when, where, or how much interest rates fall or get risen. That is Jerome Powell's job. And the Fed, by design, is meant to not be governed under the president, right? Because it's meant to just do what's best for the economy and not what's best for the current cabinet. So we're going to see, I don't know, I actually don't have any predictions. I'm thinking maybe the rate will stay the same, actually, for right now. But I do feel like in the future, we may see a lot more pressure from Trump on the Fed to cut interest rates. But we also know that the Fed did price in, I think, 2 interest rate cuts for this year. And that's depending upon how the economy is going to react with the continued policies that Donald Trump is placing on us and the world. So very interested to see what happens this week in terms of what the Fed will do. I do think we'll probably just hold for right now. But it's something that I definitely want to keep watching. And then, of course, after that, I want to watch the unemployment claims. Now that we're in January, we're kind of getting rid of all that seasonal data that we have every time the holidays come. So I want to see if unemployment claims, rise or lower based on the projections as they start to rule out some of these seasonal jobs, because unemployment is highly correlated with inflation. So that is it. That is all we have this week. I pray and really wish that you guys have a great trading week. I pray it's a profitable one. I pray that you learn from every mistake that happens, and honestly, always try to take your mistakes as lessons. Like, you're not meant to be perfect trading, you're just meant to be better every time that you trade. So take that, go into this week and kill it. I'll be back here next week with another review and another breakdown. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, like, comment, and subscribe, and share with someone who you think is interested in trading, wants to learn how to trade, or just wants to see what trading is like. Thank you guys so much. Peace. I'll see you next week.